everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today for a very special and exciting Celestyal Cruises webinar. My name is Anna. I'm an Industry Relations Manager here at CLIA, and I'm going to just quickly go through some housekeeping. This webinar will run for about 40 minutes with time for questions at the end. Please feel free to type your questions into the questions module of the webinar, and we'll get to them at the conclusion of the presentation. The webinar is being recorded and will be posted on CLIA's YouTube channel, which is CLIA Global. And finally, I'm so excited to announce that we are doing a prize giveaway on this webinar. Celestyal will very generously be giving one lucky winner a 7-night Greek island cruise for 2. So make sure to stay on through the end of the webinar for your chance to win. And with that, I'll hand it over to the Celestyal team, all of whom are here to share their knowledge with you. Take it away, team.
Thank you so much, Anna. And kudos to you at CLIA for all the hard work you guys do for our industry. It's very much appreciated because it's a team effort. We're obviously facing interesting times, to say the least. And if it wasn't for CLIA and us teaming up with you guys in our messaging to the governments and all those that are out there contemplating cruising in the future, we would be in a much different shape. So kudos to all of you guys at CLIA. And also thank you everybody for joining us today. We have a pretty sizable audience, and I know everybody is busy, so it's great to see you joining another webinar to learn, I hope, some new things about Celestyal. And we actually do indeed have some very exciting new things to announce today. And this audience will be having a bit of a preview of great things to come. Now, the future is obviously on our mind, and we all can use the future to escape the present, as John Green wishfully quoted. He's a New York Times best-selling author, and with these wise words, we like to sort of go and focus on 2021 and 2022, for that matter, as people are still mostly in lockdown, or at least not able to travel across the world like we so eagerly would like to. For starters, I would like to take this opportunity to meet our team. We are fortunate that the entire Celestyal team is still out and about virtually drumming up business, which we've done with some great success. Some tips will be shared later during the presentation on what has been done by some of your fellow travel agents in partnership with our BDMs. But without further ado, I would like to show some images here of the team who are on board, starting in the left-hand corner with the cool glasses, Mr. Ryan Campbell.
Yes, hello everyone.
That's a very quick hello, always to the point, Mr. Ryan, based in Seattle, where the sky is quite smoky still, unfortunately. All the more reason to want to escape to the future. And then in the middle, we have Mr. Andre there on top.
Hey everybody, Andre here.
Yep, and I'll skip myself. I'm the guy with the glasses hugging my fellow colleague there, who is Tim. He's not on this call, but he is very much part of our team. He's our global director of marketing, a fun-loving guy. And then we go to our lovely Kelly at the left-hand corner in Meteora.
Hi, everyone.
Hello, Kelly. And then our smiley Sandra, who some of you will know because she's often the one that you will deal with if you are working with us on groups. Sandra?
Hi, everyone. Just a reminder that I am the only Canadian one here.
Yeah, is that a disclosure or is that a condition of, I think that's a good thing. The Canadians are well loved in the US. So, all right. And then our token Greek, Maria, based in Chicagoland.
Yasu, everyone.
Very good. So great to have this team on board today, and hopefully you guys know some of them already. And if not, this is a good opportunity to get to know them a little bit better and hopefully tap into them in the future as you try to drum up some business. So Celestyal, some people may not know so much about us because this brand Celestyal has only been around since 2014, even though the company has been around much longer. The brand itself started in 2014 and has been built on some 85 years of experience in the travel industry. We are actually part of a leading travel group based out of Cyprus in Europe. Cyprus is a small state, if you like, within the European Union. And our company owns and operates, in addition to the cruise ships, some, I believe, 25 major resorts in the Eastern Med, primarily catering to European travelers. As a cruise line, we cater to some 134,000 guests. That would be in a normal season. We're proudly Greek-owned, are Cypriot owned, and our second headquarters are in the city of Athens, which, as we all well know, is the cradle of Western civilization and the heart of ancient Greece. And we're proudly also an award-winning company. Much due to the fact that we have great staff. Now, everybody boasts about their staff, and it's very true in our case that these are the people that make or break the vacation that you send your guests on. From the captain to the crew members that look after the cabins, it's daily smiles, and they will know you by your first name very quickly, including your beverage preferences. Now, we operate based on an all-inclusive concept, which makes it a very stress-free vacation. And as we know, we have enough stress as it is. So the highest standard of service, and based on the philotimo concept. And Maria, since you do speak Greek, I always ask you to sort of highlight what philotimo actually means in terms of the experience that we offer.
Oh, no problem, Gordon. I always say that, you know, when you come to my house for a meal, it's not going to be a meal, but a buffet spread, because it's in our genes that we have to take pride in our hospitality. So it's generosity of spirit, and that really comes through when you're on the celestial ships. The crew all extend the philotimo that is indicative of Greek hospitality.
Yep, and proudly so. I mean, you're at home on our ships, and it's very important that therefore the dining is fantastic, that you have access to some beverages which are unlimited, the classic drinks, and that's throughout the day, not just during the meals. We also include on all of our cruises 2 shore excursions, which are pre-selected. Then we have lovely entertainment on board, some of which may relate to the destination that we're sailing through, i.e. some Greek dancing, maybe you're witnessing a Greek wedding on stage. And then this is a biggie, the gratuities as well as the taxes are included. So there's not the mandatory, obligatory envelope at the end of the trip. So what you prepay through yourselves as agents is what the customer will be facing at the end, unless they've purchased extra stuff on board. But in reality, you can't get away without charging your card or your room key any more than necessary. So food is so important nowadays as part of the experience. So we are obviously going to try and give you an experience that has your taste buds also enjoying the local fare. Local ingredients, it's a journey to the heart of the Med, and the Mediterranean obviously is very famous for its diet. It's healthy diet. Greece has one of the few blue zones in the world, the island of Icaria, which is also where a lady, Diane Kochilas, is actually based during the summer periods. She's a chef from the New York area, and she has a show on PBS, My Greek Table, which we are partnering, and she is consulting our chefs, delivering wonderful, healthy options throughout the voyages that we operate. So destination is key for us. I mean, we're a Greek company, so we're going to be showing off Greece, but we also go to the places where ancient Greeks used to roam. Turkey, Israel, Egypt, Cyprus, all places that are the hero for us, because there's so much storytelling to be done. We have a lot of regional expertise. I mean, we have the phone number to the mayor of Santorini. I always like the joke. So if we need something, we can speak the local language, pick up the phone, and deal with him directly. The mix of places that we visit are unbeatable. We go to the smaller islands because our ships are a little bit smaller, and I'll talk about that some more during the presentation further down the line. And then we like to also make sure that you get that time on shore. So the stays in some of the key islands, such as Mykonos, Santorini, are exceptionally long, sometimes as long as 2 sunsets, which is giving us a unique selling point. So we've won many awards, over 60 in the past 5 years. The most important ones that we like to highlight always are those that consumers pick us for, which are the TripAdvisor awards. And we've won Best Service and some other great awards, including the check-in situation and the ease of dealing with us, etc. The Solo Traveler Award, which highlights the fact that we are quite friendly to solo travelers. But yes, these are nice kudos and pats on the back, especially to our crew who make the dream trip come alive. Now, this is something that you may have picked up on already in the past few weeks. It was announced that we acquired, and this is kind of big news and a positive item that we obviously want to boast about. And this is, you guys are getting a little bit of a preview because the press release will go out tomorrow as far as where this ship will be sailing. But we've added a new vessel to our group, and she will be called the Celestyal Experience. And that fits very nicely with what I was just talking about, that the destination is the hero. But now no longer, is it just about the destination where the ship has a secondary role. We can easily say with this vessel, the ship will very much become at par with the destination that we operate. And I'll point out some of the fantastic features of this vessel, which I was lucky enough to actually visit myself 2 weeks ago. I live in the United States. I'm from Seattle, where I live, but I still have a Dutch passport, and therefore I was able to fly to Athens and visit our vessel. So the Celestyal Experience, this is the mock-up with our logo painted on. In the meantime, that has actually happened. She is now in the blue stripes and has the logo on her. She's docked in Piraeus as we speak. And let me tell you a couple of details about this ship. For one, for those of you who do know us, we used to have the Crystal operating some of our 7-night product. This vessel will replace the Crystal on the 7-night, and that's the big announcement. That's the item that was still missing. We did tell you guys that we have a new ship in the fleet, but the Crystal will be replaced by the Celestyal Experience. So all 7-night cruises will be operated with the Experience. She has 228 insides, outsides 395, and this is the biggie, where the Crystal only had some 60 balcony suites. This vessel has 160, and if you add it up, 132, 22, 6, and 6. So a huge improvement from our perspective in offering on the balcony suites. Ample space. We also have the grand suites, 6 of them, which have a wraparound veranda and balcony. So it's going to be a whole new world. I can honestly say, after having visited this ship myself 2 weeks ago, that I would not hesitate to put her up against all of the ships in the fleet of the majors in the contemporary section. She's fantastic, has fantastic offerings, including 7 restaurants, 7 bars, 2 pools, a wonderful gym, a spa, which I have to confirm, but I heard from the captain who used to sail her, is actually the largest spa on the ocean. So as you can see, the experience on board will be very different going forward. And I'll give you some more insights on some of the balcony suites. This is the balcony cabin with the sea view and the double bed. And as you can see, 260 square feet. We never used to really share the square footage of our cabins because our ships used to be a bit mature and therefore the space inside was a bit more limited. But with this ship, we're going to be playing in the field of the majors, as you can see. And then some more samples of the outside cabins. This is one with the sea view. 178 square feet, and then the suite, which has 402 square feet of space with lovely seating, sitting area and floor-to-ceiling windows. So these will also come with concierge service. So if you have high-end customers that are looking to explore the Greek islands, this is the place to be. And the good news is that our pricing, since it was already announced, will remain the same regardless of the fact that we're going to be upgrading our ship, I would say easily tenfold in terms of experience. Now some further images. This is a shot of the spa. These are the salt baths that you can sort of dream in, and then on either side, left and right, there's going to be massage rooms. There's going to be his and hers. There's a beauty salon, and then behind us, because this picture was taken facing aft, there is the saunas, and there's multiple saunas. There's a steam bath as well as an ice bath, so plenty of options to really sort of rejuvenate. The other thing that she offers, like I said, is the restaurants, but there's one thing that our CEO in particular sort of honed in on, which is the wine bar. And in this wine bar, we're going to have a great selection of some of those fantastic Greek wines. So you can basically spend an afternoon there learning about Greek wines, eating local cheeses, and just really sort of chill and rejuvenate, like I said. The other thing we offer is a wonderful cafe, which is all beautifully done in wood that makes it look like you're in some city, may it be Athens, where you can have a coffee or enjoy beautiful ice cream. 7 restaurants, multiple options. We even have a fancy restaurant where you can see the chef at work here on the right. The higher end suites most likely will have the option of eating there included in their stay. So this is all going to be a fantastic addition to the overall product offering that we have. And then of course, one of the swimming pools. There's 2 of them, like I said, and there's cabanas, so there's ample privacy. And yeah, overall, this will take Celestyal to a whole new league as far as the 7-night cruises are concerned. A fantastic product for the US market, which is consequently where we tend to sort of source close to 50% of our business already. So language spoken on our ships in general is English, but there's a lot of Greek going on as well. But yeah, the main language is obviously English. Now, the Olympia will still remain in our fleet. She is the ship that operates our short voyages out of Athens. She's perfectly conditioned to do those 3- and 4-night sailings. 724 staterooms, but only 9 with private balconies. So this ship operates the fast-paced, and we'll talk about these itineraries programs, the 3- and 4-nighters, the, I would say, taster trips or island hopping trips of the Greek islands. 2 restaurants, 7 bars, so ample opportunity to entertain yourself. Also has 2 outdoor pools, a gym, sauna, and a beauty center. So some of the imagery here explaining the amenities of the vessel. Lots of outdoor space and lots of opportunities to do sightseeing as you're cruising through some of the most beautiful spots on Earth, which are the Greek islands. And here's some images of the suites as well as the outside cabins and an inside. So cabin sizes here are a little bit smaller since she is a little bit more mature, but customers on these vessels, on the vessel that operates the 3- and 4-nights, spend very little time inside their cabins. They're there to explore. And consequently, if you look in the programs of, say, Globus, Trafalgar, Insight, Colette, this is the vessel that they actually book a lot of their guests into when they add the 3- and 4-night programs into their land tours that they operate around Europe. So with that said, let's talk a little bit about the 3-night programs. And this is going to be handled by our enthusiastic maestro from Seattle, Mr. Ryan.
Thank you so much, Gordon. And thank all of you for tuning in. I trust everyone is having a successful Travel Tuesday. I'm so excited to share some details on the 3- and 4-nights. As Gordon mentioned, we're very destination specific, and I wouldn't overlook these shorter itineraries straight to the 7 nights, as they provide a wonderful glimpse into some of these islands that you might not see on some of the longer itineraries. The first I wanted to showcase was the 3-night iconic Discovery, and I will be talking a little bit about some of the smaller ports that won't be spoken to by my other colleagues. So one thing I wanted to point out before we switch slides is look at the intensive port times that we have on all of the different shorter programs. So the destination is really the focus here, and the first port that I wanted to point out on the 3-night iconic Discovery was Syros, which is our first stop. We have an included walking tour on Syros, and this was a newer port that we've added to our shorter itineraries this year moving forward. It's a much smaller island, only 39 square miles, and situated about 78 nautical miles from Athens, making it our first stop. But it's been a significant port town for over 5,000 years in Greek history. So the walking tour will showcase its older history, some of its more recent history, and then the culture, the cuisine, and some of the aspects of Syros that make it unlike anywhere else. One of our Greek colleagues has said that there's so many Greek islands that you can't visit them all in a lifetime, so you must choose, and choose wisely. You'll be very glad that you chose an itinerary that hits Syros on it at the end of your voyage. So you'll get a walking tour there. The other 3-night program that is quite different is the 3-night iconic AEGEAN. Now, the difference here, we have a couple of included excursions in Kushadasi and Ephesus, and also the Palace of Knossos. But the 3-night iconic actually features more ports significantly than the itinerary that I just showcased. So as we go to the next slide, you'll see there is still quite a bit of port time in all these places, but we're including Mykonos instead of Syros. This itinerary also has Patmos, and then the island of Crete and the port of Heraklion. So there's plenty of dates for you to sell into. This is a shot of the port of Scala on the island of Patmos. All of my colleagues on this call and I, we walked up the hill. Although Patmos is smaller than most, the history is tremendous. It is a day you'll never forget, a day I'll never forget. On the island of Patmos is where the Apostle John received the visions found in the book of Revelation of the New Testament, and also where it was written. So for a short walk up the hill, you can actually go into the cave where this happened. For those of you that have FIT business, pilgrimage travelers, or religious travelers, this is a tremendous selling point. It is a port that they will absolutely be excited to go to over and over again. So Patmos on this itinerary is not to be overlooked. Moving on to the 4 nights, we have the 4-night iconic discovery. Again, we have 2 included tours, the Syros walking tour, as I mentioned previously, and then also Ephesus and Kushadasi. Plenty of dates to sell into on this program as well later in the year in October and November. For the 4 nights. So the 4-night iconic is a slower pace, similar to the 3-night iconic. The only addition here is that we add Rhodes. So Rhodes is the additional port that's included on the 3-night iconic discovery. Next slide, please. So we have 2 included excursions, and one of those is on the island of Rhodes, or in Rhodes, and it's the Acropolis of Lindos, as you can see up on the hill. There's stunning beauty in just about every Greek island you're going to go to. However, this history in Lindos is much, much different than any of the other ports we'll talk about due to the Acropolis of Lindos. For those of you that are interested in the Knights of the Crusades history, specifically from the late 13th and early 14th century, this will check all of the boxes. So you'll get to do a wonderful tour included at the Acropolis of Lindos. Some of you may recognize some of these sites from the movie The Guns of Navarone, which was filmed here in the 60s. There were scenes filmed from the movie. So we'll include Rhodes along with a few other really incredible ports. But I just want to point out before my time is done that I wouldn't overlook the 3 and the 4 nights. They are wonderful for FIT business. And you can also add on our pre or post options. So if you have travelers that don't want to spend a full 7-night sailing or a full week of their time on board, the 3 and the 4 nights are a wonderful option to include with our pre and post. Gordon mentioned that some of our tour partners, such as Colette and Trafalgar and Globus, use the 3 and 4 night programs. It's very easy for you to put together a combination of our 3 and 4 night sailings to give your travelers a wonderful taste and see some places they may not see on some of the longer itineraries. And that covers the 3 and the 4 nights. I'll go ahead and pass it off for the 7-night idyllic.
Thank you. And that will be Andre.
Yes. So Andre Roberts-Dukes here. I'm the Business Development Manager covering Northeast USA, based here in Baltimore, Maryland. Now we're going to shift gears and talk about our 7-night itineraries. Gordon has already confirmed that the 7-night itineraries will now be on the brand new Celestyal experience. So the 7-night idyllic AEGEAN is our most popular of the 7-night cruises. So you can see this is the itinerary is going to be most heavily focused on the Greek islands. Some of the highlights are going to be the overnight stays in both Mykonos and Santorini. We actually spent a full 24 hours in Santorini. And just as Ryan had done a little while ago, I want you to take a quick look at the amount of time that your clients stay in port there. So it is massive there. But I do want to highlight 4 specific destinations that are included in here. The first is on the island of Crete. New for 2021 and 2022, we will actually be docked in Agios Nikos. And this is a wonderful port of call for those who recognize we spent a lot of time in Crete. So we are in port from 8 a.m. till nearly midnight. The port is very accessible. It's walkable. There's nightlife. There's seaside dining and lots of options. But of course, one of the highlights you see in this image here is the amount of history. So this is the Palace of Gnosis. which dates back to ancient Minoan civilization. There's also a lot of time and opportunities to connect with the locals. Featured in the image here is one of our most popular itineraries, where guests have an opportunity to go to the countryside of Crete, get some insight into the winemaking process, and even a little bit of Greek dancing. Go to the next slide. Of course, in Greece, all around Greece, but especially Crete, there's always a beautiful beach nearby. So for your savvy travelers that want to find a beautiful beach escape, remember that we are going to be in a resort area, and the beaches are very close and they're fantastic. Next destination that I'd like to highlight is the island of Santorini. Now, Santorini is absolutely stunning beauty and has so much to offer. What's so special about the itinerary, the really beautifully curated itinerary that Celestyal's put together, we spend a lot of time. Santorini is a destination where there's so much to do in your time, and when it's limited, you can't do as much. So you see me pictured here. The next slide is a quick look at the red sand, red beach, which is not as many people know about. There's so much more to just Ia Village, which you saw in that first image. And in the next slide, you will see a glimpse of Akrotiri. So Akrotiri is an ancient, prehistoric city that dates back to Minoan times. And so while this destination is not only going to have amazing natural beauty, but a good glimpse at ancient history as well. And that has a great story and an available excursion to experience. And there's a quick look at the Black Sand Beach. So you have an opportunity to experience a variety of different beaches, beautiful destinations to walk around in the villages, great shopping, nightlife, seaside dining, the restaurants, cafes, the works. And of course, Santorini is one of the most beautiful places to watch the sunset. And so make sure that you stress these points to your clients. Now we're going to switch to a different spotlighted destination, which is Milos. So Milos, for those who follow me on Facebook, Milos is my new obsession, and I do post quite a lot of images for those who are looking to experience some unique beaches and seaside experience. And this is one of those islands for that. It is frequently recognized as one of the most beautiful islands in the entire world because of the volcanic activity over the years. It has unique sea caves and just has a completely different look, and it's going to have a lot less foot traffic than a destination like Santorini and Mykonos. So speaking of Mykonos, that is the last destination that I'm going to highlight on this itinerary before we switch to the next itinerary. This, of course, is Mykonos, a quick look at the Little Venice. So I have very fond memories of being seated right about here, enjoying a nice little snack, a beverage, watching the sunset. It's a destination that's chic and it's relaxing. It has pulsating energy. I say that it is simply impossible to not be happy in Mykonos. Mykonos is a destination that exudes joy and happiness, and it's one of my absolute favorite places in the entire world. And it's also known for its legendary beaches, for your VIP experiences with a little music pulsating in the background, or lounge access, lots of places to explore. So, and again, a reminder, the itinerary features a 24-hour stay. So for those who have the energy and want to explore a little nightlife, that is here as well. All right, so the last slide here is reminding that there's an opportunity to watch that sunset as well. All right, so that was it for the 7 nights eclectic AEGEAN, and now we'll switch gears and Kelly will talk to you about the 7-night eclectic.
Thanks, Andre. I love the 7-night eclectic. I got to do this itinerary this past November, and I have to tell you, it's, I think, my favorite itinerary that we sell. It's really designed with a traveler spirit in mind. And what I love is it sails in the off season. So it actually sails in the shoulder season. So in every single port that we went to, we were the only cruise ship in port. This itinerary is all about taking you a little more off the beaten path. So if you have clients who are well traveled and they want to up their travel game, pay attention. So immediately right away, we have an overnight in Istanbul after we depart Athens. And this city was incredible. It's actually the 4th largest city in the world. It was bustling, whether it was 2 p.m. or 2 a.m. And we overnight there. So we get in at 3 p.m. and we don't depart until 8 p.m. the next day. So when we arrive, we actually include a shore excursion here that will take you to the spice market, which is like a traveler's delight. If you like to take photographs, that's the type of photographs you can get. You can try all of the amazing goodies. And then we will hop on the Bosphorus River for an included river cruise. It's really cool because you're taking in the city from a completely different perspective, far away. You can see all of the most iconic landmarks before you really dive in the next day. And since we have until 8 p.m., you have so much time to explore different parts of the city. My personal favorite is our half-day optional shore excursion where you can go to see the Hagia Sophia, one of the most iconic pieces of architecture in the world. It is incredible. You can go to see the Blue Mosque. Again, it's a total showstopper. And we also visit the underground cisterns, which were incredible. Then what that does is that leaves you several hours of free time, and you're going to want to do that so that you can get lost in the Grand Bazaar. It's probably the most famous bazaar in the world to do shopping. It's awesome. It has so many arts and crafts. It's really famous for its leather goods in Turkey, but Istanbul is incredible. And we don't just take you to Istanbul, we take you further into the heart of Turkey. We go to Çanakkale, Turkey. And this is where the ancient city of Troy is. And this is a really incredible day. There's a brand new museum all about Troy that has all of the pieces that they're actively excavating from the site. It houses all of them. The museum itself is a really amazing, beautiful space. But after we visit the museum, to really get the context, our guide actually takes us to the archaeological site of Troy. And to give you an idea of the level of guides that we have, he is a Fulbright scholar on Troy, and he also gives educational lectures on board. So we're always immersing you in the culture. And something new for the eclectic, if you've looked at the eclectic before, pay attention because we've actually made some amendments for 2021. We have added the city of Thessaloniki, which is an incredible addition to the itinerary. It's the 2nd largest city in Greece, and it's got a really cool dynamic going on because it's most famous for its Byzantine history, but it's also a college town. So it's got a really interesting vibe, fun and history, and a huge culinary scene. I don't know about you, but I love to eat when I travel. So I've been told by all my Greek colleagues that is like the place to eat. Of course, Thessaloniki is also the land of Alexander the Great, so you can get your history on here. You can visit the royal tombs, which is where the tomb of Philip II, the father of Alexander the Great. There's an incredible museum here. There's an extensive royal palace that you can explore, all on a really cool optional shore excursion out of Thessaloniki. And I have to tell you though, out of every port that we go to, you know, Mykonos and Santorini are incredible and they really get a lot of the glory, but Volos is my favorite port because it is the gateway to Meteora. And I've traveled all over this world and I've never seen a place look like this ever. It's the most mystical landscape I've ever seen with my own eyes. Those little orange roofs perched on top of those cliffs are actually monasteries built by monks dating back to the 1400s. And we have an incredible all-day optional shore excursion that will get you there. We visit 2 of the monasteries. The history of how these were built, the photographs, if you like taking photographs from here, it's just It's an incredible spiritual experience. I can't recommend it enough. And last, we made some amendments to Santorini. So it's really cool to visit Santorini in the off season. It's way quieter, way less tourists. And I mentioned before, I really like taking photographs. There were no other cruise ships in port. I have photographs with not a single person in them. It's just enjoying the sheer beauty of Santorini in the off season. But this itinerary is incredible.
Thanks,
I'll
Kelly.
pass it on next to Maria.
Well, thanks, Kelly. So I get the privilege of talking about our 3 continents itinerary, which I had the privilege of sailing on board last December. Oh, when we were sailing and traveling still, remember? It was an incredible experience. And what I will say that is different on this particular itinerary compared to the others is that if you will look at this itinerary, the first day is at sea. It's our only at sea day that we have in our current itineraries, which with the new ship is going to be a hit. You're gonna have a whole day at sea to take advantage of the educational seminars, the spa, and all the different dining facilities. So this will really up the game for that day. People may have a hard time getting off this marvelous ship once it's done. Our first port that we go to is, we go to Cairo so that we can see the marvelous pyramids. And if you're brave enough, and we do visit the Egyptian Museum, which is scheduled to open, I believe, next month. By the time you sail, we should be able to see King Tut in his new home. But hopefully, you'll be able to take a picture. This picture was actually taken with my camera phone near the pyramids. And if you're brave enough, you could get a ride on one of those camels or just take a picture from afar. But be sure that you have a tip in hand when one of the tourists take your picture with the Sphinx, because you'll need to tip them to get your phone back, but they do know exactly where to position your hands to get the right picture. So Egypt for the day is marvelous, but can you imagine following that up with Israel? Our first stop in Israel can be our optional excursion that goes to Bethlehem and Jerusalem. Here you'll see the Church of the Nativity, the marvelous Basilica in Bethlehem, and going on from Bethlehem, you'll travel to Jerusalem, where you see the Dome of the Rock and the old city of Jerusalem flanked by the new. Pause for just a second, Gordon, because I just want to mention that the significance of this Western Wall, where people come from around the world to pray. Be sure you know that all faiths are welcome to put their prayers in the wall, and that even if it's just a little post-it note that you write out, your letter, your prayer goes into the wall, and as they fall out, they're buried on the Mount of Olives so that they ascend direct to heaven. That's what you call high-speed internet with your prayers. The next slide shows my visit several years ago, where you'll get a great vantage point on that excursion to take pictures of the city and you in the foreground. Or perhaps you'll want to visit Tel Aviv. They say Tel Aviv to play, Jerusalem to pray. Tel Aviv is hustling, bustling, and Jaffa, the next slide, shows the oldest seaport in all of the world. And right behind that picture is the little neighborhood of Neve Tzedek, where I encourage you to find Dr. Shakshuka, or any shakshuka served in Israel is phenomenal. They have a marvelous wine and culinary scene there. But after those 2 amazing countries in your first half of the itinerary, you think Cyprus. Why do I want to go to Cyprus? Oh my gosh. It was voted by the group I was with their favorite port. It ascends into these beautiful elevation mountains, and in the mountains, you'll see different historical sites. and have a marvelous lunch. I think it was the quote of the group was that in Cyprus was their best meal ever in their life. So you'll get to see lots of great things in Cyprus. It's beautiful, clean, historic. This is where the goddess Athena swam up onto the rocks. It is filled with wonderful stories that your guides will share with you and beautiful views that go on forever. You'll visit the Korean archaeological site as well as the seaside city kingdom, where on that little circle in the middle of the theater, you will hear your echo just by whispering, but yet you have the ocean in front of you. Cyprus is magnificent, and we take you there for the day. We do visit roads on this itinerary as well, but since that's been kind of covered, I'll just jump on to Ephesus, which really does boast some of the most magical of all ancient ruins. Here you see Hadrian's Library, and I would encourage you to add to your client's itinerary the option for just a mere $18 per person, the House of Virgin Mary, or the terrace houses, which is the picture to the upper right. And that can be included in your ancient city Ephesus tour, which is one of our included excursions. The terrace houses were magnificent because it's kind of the Beverly Hills of Ephesus, and you see the archaeologists piecing together different mosaics and beautiful frescoes that you'll want to take in. So I'm going to turn this over to Gordon. Is this back to you?
Thank you. Yes, and thank you. Apologies, we have some technical issues, I think some echoes there, but I think most of what you shared, Maria, came through loud and clear as usual. The Housewives of Beverly Hills in Ephesus, I will never forget that one. So anyway, the Steps of Paul, totally different program in terms of all the programs that we offer. This is very heavily focused, of course, on a religious experience, and therefore booked a lot by groups that are affiliated with Catholic, Protestants, and any sorts of churches. We have operated this trip many times over in the past and reintroduced it, and very quickly saw that there's huge demand. So we've actually increased departures on it. We're now sailing in October next year, 16th, and as well as the 13th, and then also in 2022, 15 and 22. And we already have bookings, groups locked in for 2022 on this itinerary. It's a wonderful program that covers some of the islands and places that we go on our usual program. Kusudashi, Patmos, for example, with St. John, the part that Ryan already highlighted. But literally, this trip does what it says on the tin. It follows the steps of Paul historically, a walk through the Bible, starting in Athens and making our way around the Eastern Mediterranean. Slow-paced, and this will also be operating with the Celestial Experience, which, by the way, one of the features on the vessel is actually there's a chapel, a proper chapel. So if people have a need for religious service, we can facilitate that now. Just some highlights of this particular trip. This is Kavala, which is a small port city, founded, as most things in this part of the world, way before the United States ever existed in terms of being a country, but this goes back to 7th century BC. Small city with some 60,000 inhabitants, but most importantly, it's the gateway to Philippi, which is where the prison of St. Paul is. And this is where, touching the magic of the Bible becomes physically possible. St. Paul was in Philippi and was arrested by the Romans. He was apparently a disturbance and a nuisance in their eyes and thrown into prison there. And you can actually visit that place. It's goosebump stuff, as you can imagine. Another place that we go to, which is Dikili, which is on the coast of Turkey, just like Kavala, is a gateway city. It's on its own worth a visit because there's a lot of architecture that dates back to the Phoenicians and the other occupants that are there. But the highlight for this one is that we go to Pergamon, and Pergamon is famous in the New Testament as one of the sites of the 7 churches, which St. John highlighted, of course, in the Testament. What we do there is we take a cable car up to the Acropolis and explore the ancient site. A wonderful included excursion, yet again, following the footsteps of Paul, if you like, and exploring some of the most incredible sites that are there to be found in the world. And I think, you know, what will happen, and I'm not forecasting anything because we don't have a crystal ball, but once this is behind us, this period that we're facing, this unprecedented time, people are going to be wanting to celebrate. And those that have religious reasons to celebrate, this would be a lovely way to celebrate your sort of newfound life. And those that like to party and do it, you know, in a different way, more hedonistic, you know, send them on a trip that allows them to spend a lot of time in Mykonos, because that will be the party place to be when we celebrate life again. So there's lots of options for many of us, but the important thing is that we get you guys on board. So it's time to sell, and we want to share a few best practice items, which all of us, I'm going to ask the guys to open up the mic, can perhaps talk to. You know, as a team, we've all been homeward bound as well, but we've been very active with a lot of proactive travel agent friends hosting virtual cruise nights. And perhaps, Maria, you can give us an example of some of the good stuff that you've done there.
Absolutely, Gordon. We've had success with several agents who are promoting a particular cruise date. And I'm happy to take your consumer base on a tour of Greece virtually and let them dream a little bit of planning ahead. I can tell you that on one of the calls, I think the results were 16 bookings by the next day. So this is pretty good results. We're here to help you sell and sail my
Wonderful.
beautiful homeland.
Yes, and then this next one is actually something that Kelly did with some of her home-based accounts that she works with. They teamed up and sold into a group together to sort of extend the leverage, if you want. Kelly, you have some more insights there so that others can work on this together?
Yeah, I mean, I think, like, you know, the number one reason someone might not buy a trip is if the date doesn't work. That's the number one thing. So the more dates you can offer your clients, the better chance you have of hitting the target. So I do have some agents who will work within the same groups that sell into each other's space, and I think that's a great way to collaborate during these times.
Very good. The other one is a given, and I think every partner that you work with will talk about this, but reach out to your database, mine your database. You notice that we mentioned some partner companies, Trafalgar, Globus, Colette, that we work with. These are tour or land customers, and some of them will be new to cruise. So if you have those in your database, introduce the cruising product. And for them, it will be a very easy bridge to cross going on a Celestial, because the concept of seeing a lot of things, learning as you're traveling, is very much the way we operate as well. So it's going to be an easy convince, and then you have them on board. The unpack once is easily explained. You know, we all know the benefit of cruising. The other one I would like to share is share the positives. Greece as a country, I'm not sure if you followed the news, but they've done extremely well during the COVID period, knock on wood. Only, and it's still too many, but only a few hundred people unfortunately perished, but you're talking hundreds in a country of millions. So that's a positive message, and therefore we believe that Greece is going to be well positioned to be one of the first countries to be on the trusted list, if you like, with North American travelers. The other thing is that CLIA, as I mentioned earlier, has done a fantastic job and is also putting out lots of messages. Make sure that you pick up on those messages and that you put those out on your Facebooks that you share with your consumers and guests, so that we keep cruising top of mind. The other thing we've done is Facebook live sessions, which is sort of like a virtual cruise night, if you like. But perhaps, Andre, you can talk about some of your Facebook live events that you've held with some of your partners.
Yeah, thank you. The Facebook Lives are an effective way to connect with your clients and potential clients because it's so accessible. Everyone tends to have a smartphone, and then beyond just the Facebook Live, which is specific, just being able to share images and videos are also a way to stay relevant and stay top of mind with your clients. So I know just from my own personal Facebook that I get requests for people to share the photos, and we're happy to share those images.
Very good. Yeah. And then the other thing, of course, in general, social media is the way that we communicate, it seems, mostly at the moment, sometimes for bad, sometimes, but we as a group here commit to talk cruise. You know, it's important that we continue talking cruise. There's the lovers who will always come back. The haters, that's what it is. We're going to just ignore those guys, but there's a lot of people out there that are very eager and keen to jump on the ship, and you are, in their eyes, hopefully the expert that will be there and ready to receive those bookings. Ryan, maybe you can talk a little bit about the marketing portal and the material that we have available. We do have a new website, so we ask for a little bit of patience as we upload all the latest and greatest, but we have a marketing portal that we obviously want you to take advantage of, right?
Absolutely. Thanks, Gordon. And while we're waiting for the website to be updated and in full swing, everyone on this call, our BDMs are at your disposal to help you with marketing material. So whether it's itinerary, PDFs, videos of those specific itineraries, or if you want to do recorded virtual cruise nights like Maria mentioned, we can do recordings for you to allow you to send those out specific to the itinerary and date and your client base. And our goal and our main purpose is to help you. So please don't be a stranger if there's any marketing material that might be of assistance, because we have never found a bad way to market that resulted in a booking. So any type of marketing that you can do that will result in a group or ones and twos or families to book to go to Greece. One of the exciting things about sending out different types of marketing material is that Greece is a bucket list destination for just about every traveler in the world. And anyone that's been to Greece will forever continue to go to Greece because of its impact as a traveler. So don't hesitate to reach out if you need marketing material. We have a marketing portal where you can go in and access it yourself, but you can also work closely with all of the BDMs. Our goal is to help you, and we'll do that in every way that we can.
Fantastic, yes. And BD experts, you all are taking part in a CLIA hosted webinar. So that's obviously already very high on your list of to-dos on a daily basis. You're educating yourself and hopefully picking up some new stuff as we share our world with you. But another way to do it is, of course, experience the product firsthand. And with our new ship coming online, we want to see as many of you guys enjoying that wonderful ship. So look at those 7-night itineraries and take advantage of our brochure rates. I've just actually, and not even the team on this call, the BDMs, confirmed with our revenue management team that they're going to be quite lenient with the confirmation of the bookings that you're looking for. Right now, it was up to 30 days before sailing that confirmations could be given, but we're going to be very keen to see you guys on the ship so that you can relay enthusiastically, like us, what benefits this wonderful vessel offers and the experience that we offer in the destination. So take advantage of your travel agent rates. So other options would be, the pre and post packages. The 3 and 4 night sailings are lovely if you want to do a fast-paced trip, but nobody's flying to Greece just for 3 or 4 nights. So make sure that you maximize the time. We offer pre-post packages. We do special occasion trips. These are all opportunities for you to earn some extra money as well. Upsell to the suite on the experience, the new ship. There will be plenty of opportunity to get your customers in the higher grade suites. So, all money-making opportunities for both of us. Book early, space will be limited. As we know, there's future travel credits out there, so people will be redeeming those. That's because people were, stuck with the canceled season. So there will be capacity issues at some point during the season. So use that as a sort of call of urgency when you try to close sales. Work with your BDM. Ryan has already highlighted this. Always sell insurance, especially in uncertain time. This is a great earning opportunity. Buy it from whomever partner you buy your insurance from. It's high commission, as you know, but it's now more so than ever important that I think you don't send a single customer away without having insurance. And then the other thing is, if you do have customers that are sitting on future cruise credit vouchers, convert them as soon as you can. I hope that this announcement with the new vessel will again help you some more, getting people back onto the ship, because it's going to be fantastic. Mine that database, use the e-brochures that we produce, do the repostings, sign up to our travel agent Facebook site so that you can pick up on some of the stuff, the tips, the sort of tidbits that we share related to the destination, and start sharing them out to your followers. So I'm registered to the portal. We have a wonderful booking tool on our website where you can take control of bookings, payments. You can look at inventory and start making bookings. And then, of course, groups. We have a lot of groups. Religious groups are given with the itineraries that we promote, but university groups, student groups, you name it. And we have a gap program, which we will separately sent to you guys, where you can pick and choose the amenities based on the preference of the group. It's a wonderful way, especially for bookings for groups that may be departing further down the line, to maximize profits, but also to offer a best experience to the guest. We are running promotion like everybody else. Right now, we are securing commitments with customers that are still maybe on the fence and don't want to necessarily spend a lot of money. You can deposit just $199 per stateroom. That's just under $100 per person. Then their dream is locked in, so they can escape to the future, at least in their mind. But the rates are very friendly. And if you look at the 7-night sailing starting from $1,019, that will be on the new vessel. So those are fantastic rates, no doubt. And, you know, I have no problem sharing with you guys that a lot of people have already jumped on these. So with that said, we have a few minutes for Q&A. And Anna has been so kind to sort of monitor the Q&A list as they pour in. I don't think we've been so all-inclusive in our conversation that we will have no questions. But Anna, is there anything that we need addressing as a group? And then rest assured that if you do have a question we cannot get to, we will get back to you individually.
Yes, we do have several questions coming in, and like Gordon just said, if we don't get to your question, I will forward all of these to the Celestyal team, so don't worry, your questions will get answered. I will just start with the first ones that we got. We have a lot about the experience. Our first question is from Amy, who is wondering when the experience will replace Crystal and when will 7-night sailings resume.
So that starts at the very beginning of our season. We are looking to resume sailings in March. Very good question, by the way, only ever so important. We're a seasonal operator, as you probably know. So Greece, you know, we're trying to extend the season, but the experience will start kicking in immediately with the first 7-night sailing starting in March of next year.
Okay, perfect. And related to that, Kim is wondering how late in the year do you sail?
Well, we sail all the way through November. So we almost have like winter departures. And up until last year, we were actually working very hard on becoming a sort of 24/7 year-round operation in Greece, because even in the off-season, like Kelly highlighted, you know, going to places like Meteora and the islands when they're not so busy, it's still a wonderful, magical experience. So together with the Greek authorities, we were looking at, you know, being a year-round operation. We're going to take a little step back next season where we become a little bit more seasonal, but I can guarantee you that going to 22, 23 year-round will be very much on our agenda again.
Okay, perfect. And we have a few people wondering if you can speak to children on board, so what age you'd recommend for children, and can you speak to demographics of the guests in general?
Yeah, very good. So we get all sorts. So Greece attracts people that like to party in Mykonos, and Greece attracts religious travelers. Greece and the Eastern Mediterranean attracts families. And with the new suites on the experience in particular, you know, we have a children's play area, which will be looking after kids as long as 4 years old. My only thing is that if you're flying all the way to Greece with a family, and I've done it myself with my son, I think you need to understand that they're gonna hopefully walk away with knowledge after they've you know, taken the cruise. So if you take a baby or a 3-year-old, they don't get much out of it, and I think it's going to be tough for you as well as you're walking up and down the stairs in Santorini. So we do have children's programs on the new ship in particular, but I would definitely recommend that you have a child that's able to remember the trip before you target your audience. Demographics in general, you know, we have millennials, we have the boomers, which are obviously, you know, the market group that most companies tend to cater to. We do feel and we do see that the millennials are picking up much more quickly on the deals that we're offering, by the way. That's probably also because maybe they don't feel that the COVID threat is as much of a big deal for them. So the adaptation is a little bit higher in that age bracket. But in general, we cater to all.
Okay, that makes sense. And we will just have time for one more question. We have several people wondering if pricing is in US dollars.
It is. So we have a US team. We also have a US call center. And Sandra, who handles the groups, and Sandra, I'm sorry, I should have actually had you talk a little bit during the group session, but Sandra, you can, you know, vouch to the fact that we actually price in US dollars.
That's correct. All of our pricing in our system is US dollars,
Yep. And
Okay,
regardless for
easy enough.
Canadians. Yeah.
we have an office in Miami, and we are, from a sales and promotion office perspective, very much focused on the US market. So absolutely.
Got it. And it looks like we are at our 1 hour mark, so I will forward you the rest of these questions. You'll get all of your questions answered, but I think it is time for our exciting prize giveaway.
Yes, and you're the one that's going to pull the name out of the hat. So who did you select?
Yes, so if everyone can pretend they're listening to a drum roll, our winner is, oh, there we go. Our winner is Lauren Chase. Lauren Chase. Congratulations, Lauren. I will make sure the Celestyal team has all of your information, and they'll be in touch about your fantastic cruise win.
That will be on the experience. And just for information, if you want to visit us, celestial.com, our contact center in the US with the toll-free number, and of course our Facebook page where you can join and learn and share. So we want to thank you. Thank you, Anna, as well. And we look forward to making 21 the best year yet, because we want to rebound quickly.
Yes, thank you all so much for the wonderful information, and have a great rest of your week. Bye, everyone.
Bye.